Hi everybody. Back again. A few things I wanted to talk about today. So, I wanted to talk about how everything is showing up for me, and how I'm moving through it. And I also want to start off with saying that I really do recognize that although this might be what's feeling right for me, and my own thought process and my own cycle, it might show up differently for you. We're all very different. We all live in our own worlds. So please know that. Please know that my sharing is not meant to be me saying your world should look like this. That's not it at all. It's more so that I just want to sort of talk you guys through what it looks like for me, with just the sincere and honest hope and intention that if it does resonate and it is something that you identify with, then amazing. But if it doesn't, then that's you doing you, and you doing you is absolutely, totally, and 100% perfect for you. So I would say there's like three. I've just written a blog about this. I'm going to post it with this video shortly, or podcast, depending on where you tune in. I've sort of had three phases that this, and when I say this, I mean everything that's going on with our society in terms of George Floyd, all of the racism, anti-racism, just the systematic nature of racism, our levels of awareness. There's like been three main phases. So the first was, for the first time in my life, so this is phase one, step one, was me really seeing myself within the eyes of the other, right? Is the easiest way I can think of phrasing that. So it started with, I was working my way through 30 Days of Love, and the intention was I am connected. And it was about how we, as in the human race, as in actually all beings on this planet, not even just the human race, the intention of that day was about honoring the interconnectivity between all things, literally everything. And it was that day that I saw or heard about George Floyd's death, and literally my heart broke. And it's not like I was blind to racism before. I mean, I'm half Arab, half white. Like, I'm aware of the fact that it exists. I have been aware of the fact that it exists. But that day, what happened on that day was I saw myself really for the first time through the eyes of the Black community. And I got a glimpse of the level of injustice that they have to deal with every day of their lives, and my heart broke. So that was the first step. The first step was really truly seeing myself in the eyes of the Black community, getting a glimpse of their world, understanding that I will never understand or know it, but my heart breaking from the glimpse of it that I did see, and saying enough is enough. How can I change? How can I help? So that was the first phase. Step one was really seeing through their eyes and getting a glimpse of their world and saying, this isn't okay. This is not okay. Enough is enough. Step two, which is what I'm moving into now, and what I've realized is going to be sort of an ongoing, evolving life change for me, is then saying, okay, it's not enough is enough. This isn't okay. I want to change. Step 2 is then, okay, so what's next? What is mine to do next? And there has been 2 different waves of this. The first was overwhelm, literal overwhelm, which I still weave in and out of now, where it's like, I want to make a difference. I want to change, but I don't know how. So that was the first beginning of it. I was literally like, it was a genuine call for, how do I help? I don't know how to help. I know that this isn't okay. My heart is breaking in solidarity. Like, but how? How do I change? That was the first phase. And now I am realizing that it's my responsibility. It is my responsibility to bring change first within myself and in my own world, and then externally as well. So how am I doing it? There's a blog that I'm going to link down below, but there's multiple ways you can get involved in various organizations. You can show up at protests. You can show up and speak your truth. You can have uncomfortable conversations. You can have open-ended conversations. You can read books. You can tune into podcasts. You can donate. Literally, there are so many different opportunities. And again, this goes back to this very start. What I said at the very start of this is, what's showing up for me might be different for you. You might be drawn and moved in another way. And that's totally, absolutely, totally okay. Tune into your heart. Tune into your heart. Tune into where you feel guided and called. And explore that, because ultimately only you will be able to figure out what's right for you and what feels right for you to do next. For me, it was first, it started off with overwhelming myself by telling myself that I need to read everything and do everything and change the world in one night. And if I do all of these podcasts and, sign up for all of these organizations, then everything will instantly change. And then it was like, nope, slow down, Maria, deep breaths here. Like, what you're being called to do next, what feels right for me, is to make a lifelong commitment to being the change that I want to see in this world. So a lifelong commitment to educating myself, to paying attention to my unconscious biases, to owning these areas within myself that I haven't wanted to see because they're bad or whatever. And it's not that they're bad. That's the other thing. But I'll get into that with phase 3. Phase 2 is, it's evolved into slowing down, taking a deep breath, knowing that change doesn't happen overnight, that it's basically going to be a lifelong change for me, but being willing to show up every single day and do the work. And what the work looks like will change. It could be reading a book, which right now I'm going to read How to Be an Anti-Racist, and I'm actually signed up for not one, but 2 different study groups. It's also being willing to have conversations with people in my life, tuning into podcasts and reading articles that sort of challenge my thinking and open my world up and make me aware of areas within myself that I need to be aware of, or areas within our society that I didn't know about. And then step 3, so step 2 is like ongoing. It's not closed, right? It's like, this is now the start of a lifelong change for me. But the third phase is, I am learning to love the other, right? So I am learning to see myself in things that I had previously considered outside of me. And I am learning to forgive myself for not being at that level of awareness before, but be grateful that I'm there now. It's about patience and compassion and just a level of openness, and non-judgment of myself. I'm just speaking about myself here as I start to dive into my unconscious biases, as I start to dive into my blind spots. And it's like I realize that things might surface as I do this work. And it's like, I just got off of a community call for 30 Days of Love. And one of the things that Amy had said is, we're only ever, or she says this during the course actually, we are only ever able to operate from our current level of consciousness. So it's like phase 3, as I learn to love the other, both within myself, right? So the areas that I'm not conscious of, and also externally too, as I see myself in other people's viewpoints and, come to identify myself within them. It's like that's going to raise stuff within me that's going to need to be looked at. And I'm not going to beat myself up for not being at the level of consciousness I am now, where I'm able to do this work and take this honest, authentic look at myself. I'm not gonna shame myself. I'm not gonna do it. But what I am gonna do is recognize and own that I'm not perfect, that I have flaws, that I have things that I need to be conscious of, so that way I can consciously make a better choice in the future to show up and be the person that I know I am, right? That I already know I am, because who I am at my basis, at the core of my existence right now, is love. And so I want to truly show up as that in this world. And right now, that's all about me learning to love the other. So the things that I'm not conscious of within myself, as well as taking on others. The title of my whole blog, to love oneself or to love another, is to take them on as yourself. So it's learning to love the unconscious things within me that I need to surface and become aware of, as well as learning to love the other. So hopefully this is making sense. I think phase 3, again, I've just sort of become conscious of this one within the last couple of days, so it's still brand new, but I did want to share my thoughts. So first phase, getting that glimpse and realizing that enough is enough and wanting to affect change. Phase 2 was then asking myself what's mine to do next, not overwhelming myself and realizing that it's not going to happen in an instant. It's going to be a lifelong change, and it will all show up for us in different ways. How I'm currently feeling compelled to show up next is hop on here, continue my writing and my recording to share my journey, my own journey, but also being willing to educate myself, really truly educate myself, and look at my blind spots and own them. Stop them projecting them as something else, but as something within me that I need to pay attention to, own and integrate and love. And then phase 3 is learning to love that. So phase 2 and phase 3 are sort of intertwined. All right. Would love to hear how you guys are doing, how everything's going out there. I hope that you are all, it's such crazy emotional roller coaster, overwhelm, lots going on. So I hope that you are all being loving and gentle and compassionate with yourselves and allowing yourselves to feel exactly how you're feeling. We can't move through any of this if we don't own exactly where we're at. So whether that's angry or mad or sad or what have you, it's all okay. It's all right. It's all you. So I'm sending you guys all so much love and so much light, and I love you. I love you. So that's the update for now. Let me know how you're doing. Again, love to hear from you. Sending love and light. Take care out there. Speak soon.